We like to think the world is fair, that if we're kind, honest, and humble, life will reward us. That if we play by the rules, speak softly, and wait our turn, we'll be lifted up. But what if that's a myth? What if the world doesn't reward virtue, but perception? What if it doesn't reward innocence, but strategy? What if Machiavelli was right all along, that the world doesn't reward sheep, it rewards wolves? That's not to say the world is evil, but it is real. And Machiavelli, unlike most philosophers, didn't write from an ivory tower. He wrote from the chaos of collapsing republics, backstabbing alliances, and brutal power struggles. He watched the noble fail and the cunning rise. And his conclusion was brutally honest. If you don't understand how power works, you will be ruled by those who do. Not because they're better, but because they see the game for what it is. And here's the truth most people never dare to say out loud. The world is not designed to reward everyone equally. It rewards those who know how to navigate it. That doesn't mean you have to be cruel, but it means you have to be conscious. A sheep walks through the forest unaware of its surroundings, trusting that the shepherd will protect it. A wolf, on the other hand, reads the terrain, watches the patterns, and adapts. The sheep waits. The wolf moves. The sheep hopes. The wolf hunts. So ask yourself, are you living like a sheep, waiting for permission, waiting for validation, waiting for the world to recognize you? Or are you living like a wolf, quiet, observant, strategic, and dangerous, in the best way possible? Because Machiavelli's lesson is not that we must all become predators, but that we must stop pretending the world is a pasture. It isn't. It's a wilderness. And in the wilderness, self-deception is death.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Machiavelli once wrote, "A prince must learn how not to be good, not because goodness has no value, but because goodness without power is vulnerable." The moment we believe that virtue alone is enough to protect us, we become targets for those who know how to manipulate virtue. History is full of kind, intelligent, well-meaning people who were destroyed, not by evil, but by their own naivety. It's not enough to be good. You must be wise. And wisdom, in Machiavelli's world, means understanding how people really behave, not how they should. It means seeing the masks people wear, the fears that drive them, the incentives that shape their actions. It means knowing when to show your teeth, when to be silent, when to act ruthlessly, not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. Because if you refuse to confront the darker side of human nature, you will forever be surprised by it. And surprise in the realm of power is fatal. But let's take this beyond politics. Let's talk about you, your career, your relationships, your dreams. How often do you silence yourself to keep the peace? How often do you say yes out of obligation, not desire? How often do you hold back your instincts because you're afraid of what people will think? That's what sheep do. They submit. They second guess. They outsource their power. And then they wonder why they feel so drained, so stuck, so invisible. But wolves move differently. They trust their inner compass. They don't need the crowd's approval because they've trained themselves to see, to read energy, to sense opportunities, to act with purpose. And that's what Machiavelli wanted us to wake up to. That life isn't about being the loudest or the nicest. It's about being the most aware. The one who sees the game clearly and plays it without apology. So here's the question that changes everything. Are you willing to be misunderstood in order to be free? Because the moment you stop living to be liked and start living to be effective, everything shifts. You stop wasting energy on appearances. You stop explaining yourself to people who've already made up their minds. You stop trying to be the hero in everyone's story and start being the author of your own. Machiavelli didn't write for cowards. He wrote for those brave enough to look at truth without flinching. And the truth is, if you want to thrive in this world, not just survive, you must become a wolf in spirit. Not vicious, not reckless, but precise, intentional, awake. Because the world doesn't reward the most deserving. It rewards the most prepared. Why wolves wear disguises and sheep can't see them. Machiavelli's brilliance wasn't just in recognizing that the world rewards wolves. It was in understanding that the most successful wolves never look like wolves. They wear masks. They speak softly. They smile. They blend in. Because in a world full of sheep, the wolf that howls gets hunted. But the wolf that learns to wear wool walks freely among the herd, unnoticed, untouched, and in complete control. That's the game. And most people never even realize they're playing it. They judge others by appearances, by charm, by surface-level traits. They assume kindness means sincerity. They assume politeness means trustworthiness. But Machiavelli warned us, those who can't see behind the mask are always at the mercy of those who wear it best. And the most dangerous power in the world is not brute force. It's hidden intention. Think about the people who've manipulated you in your life. Did they come at you with fangs bared? Or did they disarm you with warmth, with flattery, with the illusion of safety? Wolves don't win by domination, they win by deception. And sheep lose not because they're weak, but because they don't look deeper. They take things at face value. They trust too easily. They assume the world plays by the same rules they do. But here's the twist. Wearing a mask isn't inherently evil. In fact, it's necessary. Machiavelli believed that to survive in a corrupt world, you must learn to appear virtuous, even if, at times, you must act otherwise to protect what matters. This isn't about being fake. It's about being strategic. The mask is not a lie, it's a shield, a tool, a way to move through a world that punishes raw truth and rewards social intelligence. You and I live in a society that praises authenticity, but quietly punishes those who are too raw, too honest, too direct. We say we want the truth, but we exile the truth tellers. We say we value vulnerability, but we weaponize it the moment it makes us uncomfortable. And so the wise learn to calibrate, to present themselves in a way that's digestible, understandable, palatable. Not because they're fake, but because they know that if you speak the truth too loudly, too early to the wrong people, they'll crucify you before they comprehend you. It's a paradox. To speak truth, you must often first earn the right to be heard. And that means learning to wear the right mask at the right time, not to deceive others, but to protect your message, to guard your vision, to outmaneuver systems that are not designed for truth, but for comfort. So here's a question that will haunt you if you're brave enough to sit with it. What mask are you wearing, and is it protecting you or destroying you? Because masks can be tools, but they can also become prisons. Some of us wear masks for so long, we forget who we were without them. We perform the role of the nice one, the reliable one, the successful one, the agreeable one, until we become hollow behind the eyes. That's when the mask owns you. That's when you've stopped being a wolf in sheep's clothing and started being a sheep in your own skin. Machiavelli didn't just want us to play the game. He wanted us to master it without losing ourselves. That means knowing when to put the mask on, but also when to take it off. When to show your teeth, when to walk away, when to speak the raw, electric, terrifying truth, because you've earned the moment. And when you do, the world doesn't just notice. It changes. Power without conscience. Why wolves win the war but lose the soul? If Machiavelli taught us anything, it's that understanding power, how it moves, how it bends people, how it reshapes reality, is essential for survival. But there's a deeper cost that most don't see until it's too late. The wolf may win the war, but what does it cost him to always wear the mask, to always be calculating, to always be one step ahead? Machiavelli hinted at it subtly, almost reluctantly. The danger isn't just in losing the throne, it's in losing yourself. Because power acquired without conscience, without self-reflection, without some tether to the soul, becomes a trap. You win everything on the outside but feel nothing on the inside. You silence your enemies but go home to silence. You command armies but can't command peace within your own mind. And eventually, the mask fuses to the face. You forget who you used to be before the game consumed you. The tragedy of the wolf is not that he's hated, it's that he forgets how to love. When power becomes the only lens, everyone becomes a pawn, a threat, a means to an end. Trust dies, joy becomes strategic, vulnerability becomes weakness, and slowly, the world becomes colder, more mechanical, more hollow. You get what you wanted, but it doesn't feel like you thought it would. That's the paradox Machiavelli never fully resolved. How do you navigate a corrupt world without becoming corrupted? How do you outplay the system without letting the system rewrite your soul? And the answer, though not easy, is this. You must build power on top of conscience, not instead of it. You must be a wolf with a code, a predator with boundaries, a strategist with a heart. Because if you don't, your victories will taste like ash. Let me ask you something brutally honest. Have you ever gotten what you wanted, but felt emptier after? That's the warning. That's the signal that you've crossed into dangerous territory, the place where ambition outruns meaning, where performance outruns presence, where success becomes armor instead of expression. The world tells us to chase more influence, more followers, more validation, but it rarely asks why. Machiavelli wanted you to see through the illusion. Power is not the final level. It's just another test. And the real question isn't whether you can win. It's whether you can win without losing your soul, without losing your softness, your curiosity, your ability to be still. Because the greatest tragedy isn't failure. The greatest tragedy is success that leaves you spiritually bankrupt. So yes, the world rewards wolves, but it remembers the ones who evolved, the ones who didn't just hunt, but healed, who didn't just conquer, but created, who used their power not to dominate, but to illuminate. And that's the final evolution Machiavelli's lesson points toward, not to abandon the wolf, but to refine it, to let the wolf learn from the sage, to let strategy serve purpose, to let cunning make room for compassion. Because when you merge strength with depth, fire with wisdom, ambition with soul, you don't just win the game, you change it. And the world doesn't need more wolves or more sheep. It needs something rarer, something harder, something unforgettable. It needs those who can see everything clearly and still choose to act with conscience.